Yesterday morning, I attended a video conference with the CEO of a promising Vancouver-based AI startup. The other attendees were two lawyers from one of Canada's most prestigious law firms in Toronto. According to Statistics Canada, there are more than 49,500 law firms in Canada, but the profession is dominated by just 7 firms. The average annual billings of the lawyers from these top 7 firms was almost $1.4 million, and that was in 2017. Our 1 hour meeting, plus prep time, couldn't have been cheap. As if to justify the fee, one of the lawyers skillfully dropped the name Andreesen. Marc Andreesen is one of 2 founders of perhaps the most important private equity firm in Silicon Valley. To give you some context, consider that the 2 lawyers combined generated about 20 times as much revenue annually as the 10-person startup represented by the CEO. The 2 lawyers themselves may not have all that much influence, but the leadership of their firms do exert a great deal of influence as legal experts. Together, the top 7 firms in the country represent 0.14% of all law firms in the country. The leadership of those 7 firms exert an outsized influence. Similarly, the top 7 accounting firms represent only 0.17% of all accounting firms in the country. A couple of generations ago, the leaders of these top firms may have lobbied governments on behalf of their clients. Today, though, instead of lobbyists, they have become consultants. Their firms are paid enormous sums as management consultants to Canada's governments, which represent their most significant clients. While they invariably argue against wasteful red tape and government regulations affecting their largest clients, they have convinced provincial and territorial governments to outsource their regulatory responsibilities to the professional bodies themselves, which are controlled by the largest and most influential firms. In our view, this has resulted in both increased regulatory complexity for practitioners and higher compliance costs for their small business clients. Inevitably, the justification for these restrictions is the need to protect the public from the unethical practices of unregulated practitioners.
In 1776, no less an economist than Adam Smith is quoted as saying,
"People of the same trade seldom meet together, even for merriment and diversion, but the conversation ends in a conspiracy against the public, or in some contrivance to raise prices.